Welcome right back to A&M in the AM, episode 33. And in this past week, there's been, a lot of negative things in Detroit and in just Michigan sports in general. But I think
it's not just
there's
this past
been
week. It's been like 12
yeah,
years.
in a lifetime. One thing though that brought a glimmer of hope to fans, and it started as a small little cult, you could say.
That you
And then
were
it just
adopted
started.
into.
Yeah, no, I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about like the movement.
Okay.
The movement. It started as like it started as a movement, developed into a cult, and then developed into I don't know what's past a cult, but what's ever past a cult.
A nation.
A nation. Yes, a nation. It started off as a little thing.
All
and
good
then
nations start as cults.
It spread across the U.S. I mean, you could say. I think it was trending in the country at one point.
I'm pretty sure. If not, then we'll say it was.
It was to bring a certain man to Detroit, and I didn't really understand why we wanted him. We weren't. I don't think you guys were shooting high for this guy. It was kind of just we were taking what we could get.
Yeah.
But the hashtag Dahl to Detroit, David Dahl, Colorado Rockies left fielder, I believe.
Yeah, it's somewhere in the outfield. I think it's I don't know.
Outfielder.
I didn't dig that far into it.
Yeah, he was a free agent. And a lot of Detroit Tigers fans, mainly a group of Detroit Tigers fans, wanted him.
But it was a trickle-down effect. We started it, and then bigger accounts and other fans started joining in, and they're like, yeah, we'll get behind this. And then all for nothing. Because we have the most brain-dead front office in the history of sports in Detroit right now. So
I can argue with that. As a Lions fan,
I mean all of Detroit.
I don't know, but so I was added in this group chat that MORT sent. It's just like it's Detroit sports fans basically, mainly Tigers. It seems like though, and I was added in the day this like hashtag. It was like the hashtag started like the night before, or
it had
been
started
like
a little bit, and then you wanted in. I mean, we gave Scott the credit for it, but I don't know if I was exactly the first one. I think he had been putting it in his videos before we made it an official thing. But like I had tweeted the night before that we were playing in it, and then we just kind of.
And I remember
the next day.
I remember that night before you were working on I think you were working on a
yeah, because Scott said he needed a picture or something. I was like, okay, and then I started it, and then we started recording, and then I forgot, and then they kind of had some by that time. So,
and I was so confused when you're doing. I was like, "Who the fuck is David?" I was like, "David Dahl." I mean, I've heard the name before, and he's like not like a well-known player. He's like an average player at best.
He's gonna be a household name in a little bit. Not too far down the road.
But I was so confused, and then that next morning you added me into this, or that night, or the next morning you added me into this group chat, and that's when it picked up steam or picked the steam up, and. Literally, I had nothing else to do that day, so I took part in it a lot. If you look at my Twitter feed and at every MLB tweet, any Detroit sports tweet, Red Wings,
almost
Tigers,
anybody's tweet
Lions,
in general, YouTube, like it was everywhere.
People from this group chat, including Mort and me, would go on under these in these replies and hashtag Dahl to Detroit, hashtag you know what would be better, Dahl to Detroit. And just any way you could work that hashtag into a sentence to what the person said in the tweet, it was tweeted out. And I mean, it slowly. And keep in mind, there's like 40 people in this group chat.
There was like 40 something at the time.
Yeah, and this tweet, and I'm convinced because it was only us for like the first 12 hours of this, or probably 6 hours of this tweet. It was only the people in this group chat tweeting it out, and. It had
2,000 to 3,000 the first day.
About 2,200, I would say.
Yeah.
About 2,200 or 2,500, because that's how it got in Michigan top trending, because it was at about 2,500 tweets. And it was only like the people from this group chat. So 40 people tweet out 2,500 times.
Don't underestimate us.
And
I've been trying to say this.
It started like it started to pick up steam from like bigger accounts, like you said.
Had Foolish Baseball pick it up.
Cespedes.
I think Cespedes Barbecue did eventually, and
I think he was the second day.
Somebody else, yeah, and then we got Mark from YouTube and Fuzzy from YouTube, and they started just getting behind it because we were spamming them like crazy. And I another big account did too. I just don't remember who it was.
And then I want to say about a day or two into it, maybe three. It was probably on the third day.
That's when the sadness struck.
No, well, David Dahl on the second.
Well, it was about the second day, I think. Maybe.
So on the second day, from what had been seen, is that there was apparently a David Dahl, a random account created, like
the burner.
Yeah, the burner, from what people have said, and he said, "Yeah, David Dahl to Detroit," or like "I'm with it," or like something, and it was I forget what the Twitter was called. It was something with David
Dahl and then like a bunch of numbers, I think.
But people are saying that was his burner account and like him kind of hinting that he wanted.
Yeah, we were hitting him up on Instagram and stuff too.
And
he had posted it on Instagram too.
Yeah, no, and then it was later that day, right when everyone found that burner account. Later that day, he tweeted out and then posted on Instagram, "Nothing's happened yet, but we're waiting on a call," or something like that, something along those lines. And then it was that next day that Jeff Passan reported David Dahl had been accepted an offer from the Texas Rangers.
Yeah, we hit up Passan's DMs too, and he wasn't for the boys for once, so I don't know what's going on with him.
No, he was, and because it seemed like he was.
Yeah,
he
in the eventual tweet when he tweeted the news, he saved the one and only time to tweet it is when Dahl signed, just to troll.
And he said sorry, Detroit. And so as fast as the David Dahl to Detroit tweet saga started, it ended. And then I believe after that, I haven't. I look in the group chat every once in a while, but I believe everyone's on Al's head now. Al Avila's head.
Oh, instantly!
Like you have.
Instantly, I switched focus. I mean, again, I've been pushing this agenda for 3 years. It's just everybody's like, no, you're crazy, like whatever. But now I'm happy that's finally coming full circle, and that everybody else is realizing. I pushed it. We couldn't get behind it because we were too exhausted from the Dahl stuff that broke our heart, and so I don't know. We're kind of working on something else. We got a bracket going on. I'm assuming Jock Peterson's gonna win it, so I would say that the next one's gonna be Jock.
CJ Crone has been gaining still.
He didn't make it.
You obviously have Cronin.
It was Taiwan Walker. It was Taiwan Walker, Jock, and two others. They're in the Final Four.
Oh, I haven't looked at the Final Four. I'm gonna have to go vote for that. Okay, but I'm assuming that another hashtag is gonna start out of those.
Yeah,
guys.
it's Walker, Didi. It's Walker against Didi, and then Duvall against Jock, and Walker and Jock are running away with them. So,
I'm surprised. Scope and Crone didn't make it.
I don't know how Scope. I mean, I get it because I get how Scope lost because he was going against Taiwan Walker, and everybody wants him, and I do too. But like. Yeah. Same time, it was kind of unfair for him to get pitted against him because Scope should be number one on the list anyway. But
and who did you say it's Scope? Or not Scope? It's Walker versus
Didi Gregorius.
Walker versus Didi, and then Jock versus
Adam Duvall.
And I wouldn't mind a little Duvall to Detroit.
I just don't think the thing is here. I've given up hopes on Springer. And any kind of outfielder after the Dahl thing happened because then to add insult to injury, they go and draft in the first round an outfielder in the Rule 5 draft. So I feel as though that kind of shuts down everything and there will be no outfielders.
Yeah, I mean, I did hear that what they're going to do with that guy, though, is just put him on injured reserve or whatever.
They said that he could be put on there, but he could be put, as an injury, but if they find out that he isn't actually hurt, then it's a tough scene. You're just gonna waste a spot for no reason.
Isn't he good?
He's supposed to be. I have no idea. He's barely played, I guess. He hasn't seen a day over like advanced A ball. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know the exact reason for bringing in a Rule 5 guy when you can sign somebody way better. And like I don't get why they're like still stuck in this little movement of let's just keep building with garbage cans. But I guess they are. So they're building a wall of garbage cans. Really, is what's happening here.
And I mean, the glimmer of hope we do have for some top free agents is none of them have been signed.
Yeah,
your
but
top
somebody's
free agents,
going to. It's going to be bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say your top free agent signed right now is McCann, I want to say. And
Probably.
Correct me if I'm wrong. He's the top one that's signed so far. 4 years, 40 million, right, or 60 million.
It was like 40, I think.
Yeah. So he's the top free agent that's signed so far, unless it was a re-signing. Hunter Renfroe to Boston. That was a very weird one I seen, but that's just a 1-year deal. But there's still a lot of top free agents out there. Obviously, if random call, but obviously if Detroit wouldn't even go after a low graded person like Dahl.
Yeah, that's why I lost hope. That's why I'm perfectly prepared to go into the season with a possible Walker. I'm not gonna assume that they would do something smart like that because they don't do anything smart. So I would assume I would assume they're going for Rick Porcello, Alex Avila. They just got Ian Kroll, and there was somebody else that I was saying. Hopefully Scope, but I think there was somebody else. Like they're just gonna run it back with all their old players again.
I was gonna say unless they didn't go after Dahl because they had insight that they were gonna get a bigger free agent outfielder.
I wish that was the case, but it's Al Avila, so he does not plan, or especially plan like that.
I mean, maybe.
Oh yeah, they're saying Maben. Maben is the other outfielder.
Okay.
Yeah, we're talking about it a possible fourth time around. Run it back, Cameron Maben with Alex Avila, Ian Kroll.
At this point,
solo.
At this point, Kinsler might as well just come out of retirement.
I think he might.
And then I think Prince Fielder could get into shape real fast.
I'm pretty sure Victor Martinez is like still working on his cow farm, so he's good.
And then we just trade for JD, and we got our position players back right there. Mm-hmm. We just need our pitchers would be a little harder to get a hold of because they've turned into aces elsewhere. I mean, they were aces.
I heard Detroit, Alfredo Simon's still out there somewhere.
Don't get me excited like that. Don't get me excited for some Alfredo.
Oh no.
But yeah, I mean, Tigers, you disappointed a community with such a low budget signing that would have not affected really. I mean,
I really just come to expect that it's going to be horrific every time something happens. So nothing really surprises me at this point with Al Avila, worst GM in the league.
I think the day the hashtag was started, the Tigers started learning to stop tweeting.
They started tweeting because somebody DM'd them. Yeah, somebody DM'd them, asked if they could tweet the hashtag, and they said, no, unfortunately, we can't, but we support it or something like that. And then they started tweeting like randomly about the Yankees and stuff, just so that way people could respond and get it trending.
I remember, yeah, they tweeted that very awkward tweet about the Yankees that literally made no sense. It was just like,
it was just out of nowhere.
Click this if you like the. It said, click this if you like the Tigers, click this if you like the Yankees, or something stupid like that. And I was like, okay, clicking a picture has nothing to do with anything right now. But yeah, I mean, it was one of the more interesting days on Twitter for me. Now talking about garbage fires or garbage dumpsters. We have.
Well, if you're moving on, just while we're on the baseball, before we move on. The team that I'm wearing the shirt of, I said the Tigers had the worst GM. They now have the best GM in the league, and I feel like that was a last minute push to get JT Realmuto to stay. It kind of makes sense now that McCann has gone to the Mets, so Realmuto basically has to stay unless somebody comes out of nowhere. Yep. So like that was kind of the last minute decision to get him something around him and Bryce, and I would say that more than likely means that Didi's going to stay. So
yeah,
someone's going to get some money thrown at them, and I wouldn't. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't count them out as players for Springer now.
Yeah,
Springer and Bryce in the same outfield.
Springer in the outfield though. Do they have room for him out there though? Like,
I don't even remember. It's like I don't even remember who they played out there with Bryce. It was like maybe Adam Hazley or something like that, and I honestly don't remember. Like Jay Bruce was out there at one point, but I think he was DHing. So I'm sure you can you find room for a George Springer. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, of course. Now I know he's not GM. He's president of baseball operations, which that's the first time that someone has held that title in the Phillies history, which I find interesting.
I didn't pay attention. That was a random. Either way, I expected him to be the GM. He's gonna.
Yeah, he's basically GM. He's basically the GM, but they gave him. I think they gave him that title so they didn't have to get rid of their current GM. He's basically like an overseer for that guy.
I think they did. I think they got fired. I think they fired him a while ago.
Oh, okay. So maybe they were just creating a new.
Because I said when they originally fired the dude that I said Dave Dombrowski is the perfect fit, and then like nothing really happened until recently. I don't know why they waited so long. Because if they could have got him right away, then guys would have known that Dave Dombrowski was there and started talking to him.
Yeah,
they could have definitely made moves.
They obviously when they hired him, it's still an opportunity for guys to come there. Like we said, no big guys have signed yet. JT hasn't signed. Springer hasn't signed. Brantley hasn't signed.
And that, I forgot about him. Yeah, he could fit there too. I mean, that's the thing about with what he's doing in Philadelphia too. Like they have like Bohm and like a few other prospects. But other than that, they don't have a farm system for him destroyed trade wise either. So it's going to be interesting to see who he can sign and how much money they give him because they were just complaining that they weren't going to spend money and now they go out and get him. When you have Dave Dombrowski as your GM, you're spending money. It's without the question. He signs the biggest contracts known to man. So while he destroys farm systems. So it's going to be kind of weird to see what happens.
Yeah, because don't the Phillies have a top farm system right now?
I don't think so. That's like I said. I think it's Bohm and a few others. Maybe Hazley still qualified as a prospect. I don't think so, though. And a few other guys. Like Gene Segura is a free agent for them, too. They got to get him back. They got to get a lot of guys back. So it's going to be hard for them to spend money on a guy like Springer or someone.
Before the like shortened season hit or like the cancellation of the season, guys could opt out. I feel like they had a pretty deep team going into it. So maybe they
had a decent. They had to address their bullpen, but if they're getting Dave Dombrowski, they know they're guaranteeing that they're not going to address their bullpen because everywhere Dave Dombrowski goes, they don't have a bullpen. So spends it all on hitters.
Maybe though they can. Dave can kind of smarten up a little bit and trade some of those deeper pieces that they had that necessarily maybe weren't getting the correct playing time. Trade them for a little bullpen action, and it can work out in the end for the Phillies there. So
they possibly could.
That's a big what if there. Maybe do like a sign and grade with Segura, get him out of there, but give him to a team that he's going to play on, and then that opens up that shortstop spot. Maybe you bring back Didi, and you could. And now you have a Bohm there too that he can play. He was playing. It seemed like he was starting near the end of the year majority.
I think so because whoever they had at third base, like something happened to him or something. I think they had Segura there for a little bit and then moved him around to second. I just have the shirt for Bryce Harper. That's who's on the back. I didn't pay that close attention. I was too busy sweating out the Tigers season. So, other than that, I wasn't seeing many things that happen. It's just I'm gonna always flex that now that the Phillies have the best GM in the league that I played a baseball game in front of him against his son. So,
oh my god,
it is what it is. That's when I got my scouting call. They just had the wrong number. Dombrowski gave him the wrong number.
Okay. Wait, gave who the wrong number?
The scouts.
Gave the scouts. Okay.
Yeah, they were trying to reach me, but they had the wrong number.
Okay. Why didn't they just look you up? I mean, it wouldn't be that hard to get your number.
Because I was 14 at the time.
Oh, okay. So we were
not even 14.
We were getting scouted young.
I was like 12, 13.
Yeah, but whatever. All right. So moving on to what we were gonna say a little bit ago. The other dumpster fire in Michigan football. Had a when I saw this, I was thinking basketball. I was like, why would they move basketball up this early? And then I found out it was a football game, and I was like, why are they scheduling a football game on championship weekend? I was
but
like,
I'm
that
happy
makes
it got
no
canceled.
sense.
I know we're gonna get to it, but I'm happy it got canceled.
Yeah, it got canceled against Iowa. Really didn't make sense. We really had no direction what the team was going right now. We haven't heard from the team in 2 weeks. Ever since the Ohio State game got canceled, we hadn't really heard from the team.
And the day that this is going up is National Signing Day, so we would have known what happened probably the morning of. I mean, I want to put it past him that he signs the extension the morning of National Signing Day, to make other guys like cement themselves. Because I mean, there's a lot of them that said they're still coming, but it's like Xavier Worthy's like a big one that they keep saying he might have flipped back to Alabama because he was originally going to go there, and so I don't know, but I feel like something like that would happen. But at the same time, I feel like they wouldn't, because he wouldn't want to take away the day from those guys that are signing and make it his own day for signing an extension.
So he may do it like Thursday.
Because they said, I mean, he already reached out and talked to everybody and said that he's staying. So either way, I mean, he's still got a year left. So
yeah,
at least that gives you a year knowing that you're gonna have him.
For some weird reason, because everywhere now I'm seeing he's signing back, but for some weird reason he still has the second highest odds to become the Lions' next head coach, which makes no sense whatsoever. I don't get it.
I had talked about that with my dad, and he said that he heard on the radio and other places that they said that they're doing that because they needed a money line. And so if it was like that 49ers defensive coordinator or whoever it is, and some other random guy, like nobody would be betting on it. But since it's like a big name like Jim Harbaugh, they're betting on it because the money line.
Makes sense. Which, quick side note, it seems like Robert Saleh, I believe his name is, the 49ers defensive coordinator. It seems like he's the top candidate now. I guess I have to learn to accept it. Not who I wanted, but, learn to accept it. But, yeah, I feel like if Harbaugh does resign, it will be within either Thursday or Monday. It'll either.
I mean, I'm surprised he didn't do it today. He should have done it the day before national signing.
Yeah. But how long do you think it will be?
I think it's got to be at least another 3 to 4.
3 to 4. Something I did see, and
like I said, but he was going to get a lifetime before then anyway. So I want to be surprised if it was still that. I think he gets like a 3 to 4. 2 years down the road is when he signs the big one, like that he can leave whenever he wants.
And I guess this goes into my next thing I'm about to say. No way am I comparing these two, but I did see something that said, I talked about Dabo's first 7 years at Clemson, and then it talked about or first 5 years or whatever, however long Harbaugh has been at Michigan for, and talked about their first contract that they were there for, and they had the same exact amount of wins versus top 25 teams, same amount of bowl wins, and after Dabo's first extension, that's when he was he had his team, he had who he wanted, and it was him. It was like everything he could do, he was in full control, and that's when the program took off. So
yeah, I mean,
I'm not comparing those two.
They didn't talk about Dabo's cakewalk of schedules either that he had throughout that time, I'm sure. So
I mean, no, in all honesty, he did have Florida State. Florida State was a tough team there. South Carolina, tough team in the ACC. I believe they're ACC. I could be very wrong there. I think they are. There's some tough teams that when on his come up, why he struggled so much, I think. And, I mean, same thing you can say for Harbaugh. He's had the tough Wisconsin teams. He's had the tough Ohio State teams. He's had he's had the mix-up Michigan State teams that are good and bad here and there. He's had the hard Indiana teams every once in a while. He's had these hard teams he's had to go against. And, I mean, I feel like I've called for his head, and I'm still on it. I think we should go a different direction. But I mean, it's kind of the fact that you kind of
they said
got
that
to accept that he's there.
Matt Campbell, the Iowa State guy, is going to get big money from a lot of schools, and like that's why Michigan didn't want him to, because like they don't want to compete with that. If they're going to sign a big money guy, they're going to sign the guy they already have.
I'm so confused why Matt Campbell is going to leave when he just took an Iowa State program.
It's his team. Like he's like won their conference the past few years, I guess. Like I don't know. I mean, it's for the money, because Iowa State obviously can't compete with money, but.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. If they can't compete with money, he's going to a SEC school. But I don't think he'll compete the same there. He's going to have to take over someone's program.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's the Auburn job that just came up.
It honestly probably will be. That makes the most sense. I mean, you get a top coach in a top 10 college, or as of right now, a coach that is coaching at the highest level took an Iowa State team, and basically you can call them basically nobodies. They've never really been relevant in college football, like championship wise, and he took them to a top 10 team in the nation. And you're going to give him an Auburn program that goes against Alabama, LSU. I mean, that would kind of be a perfect situation for him. Not first couple years wise, but hopefully down the line, you know. Talking about extensions, though, we'll shy away from college football. Mr. Giannis Antetokounmpo just got a 5-year extension. I don't know the exact price tag. I want to say
it was like 248.
238.
I think it was 48.
248, 238, somewhere around there. But yeah, highest paid basketball player in history, or NBA basketball player in history, for one contract at least. Crazy to think about. Well, no, not really, because
we were both wrong. It was 228, I think. Oh wait, no, it's now there's 50. Okay,
I knew there was 8 in it.
228, but he's it's like
incentives and stuff.
Yeah, the incentives and like the rest of the money that he had on his current deal will equal up to 256.
256, okay. But I was just thinking about real fast. It's crazy to think about that. Pat Mahomes signed a 10-year deal worth just over $500 million. So like he's getting about half of what Pat Mahomes got there. Roughly, give or take a little bit.
I mean,
it's just crazy.
And really, you should have known he was going to stay.
Oh yeah, no, it
was fun to joke. It was fun to like joke and throw around like different situations and scenarios, but like everybody really knew that he was staying.
And everyone knew he's staying because Giannis doesn't like the big market. He likes small market. It fits Giannis. He's a superstar, but he came from a small Greek town. Like he never liked the spotlight on him, because he came literally from nothing. Even when he was a rookie in the league, he was still fighting and gritting and grinding, and no one really noticed him until like his second or third year in the league.
The thing about it for me,
he had to come up from nothing.
I think now Middleton's on a big contract. I mean, Giannis and Middleton were both on big ones to begin with, but you have Middleton on a somewhat big. Giannis getting that extension. Like, at some point, like Milwaukee being a small market, when do they ever get anybody else? They can't afford anybody else outside of that. And also, it's like at this point, it's kind of looking like Giannis is almost accepting, like, yo, they're probably not going to get anybody around me. I got a free chance to make some cash here, and the city loves me. It's like Harden. It's like Harden. It's what Harden should have done. Of course, you're a professional athlete, so you don't want to accept not winning anything. But, like, it's your city. Yeah. Giannis said, Milwaukee is my city. And, like, this is where I'm known from. This is where I am. But Harden did the exact opposite. He said, this is my city, but I want out of it. I'm the man here, but I don't want it for some dumb reason.
Like, honestly, who other athlete-wise, who is Giannis competing with? Christian Yelich?
Yeah, and that's
really?
Those two are close. Like, they're close with each other.
And then Aaron Rodgers, which is a little farther away. Like, you're in your own town. You're literally the star of your town. You're only competing with Yelich. Yelich had a bad year last year, so people are still going to know his name. Obviously, he's a great MLB player, but you're literally the star of your town.
I just feel like
better than you.
I feel like it's
sport.
like what I was saying though. I feel like it's almost more of the money than the ring to him at this point. Like he's like kind of there. It's like if they can get somebody here and we can run it like after LeBron is gone and KD is slowing down and then he'll be set. But at the same time, it's like he's gonna take it. He's gonna take in the money now for the next like 4 years until like LeBron and KD and everybody are gone. And then, I mean, I feel like LeBron may still be playing a little bit, but I mean, it's obviously going to be a little
maybe not at a top level, but
yeah, it's going to be a little different area. But he knows that he would be the man, and that guys would want to come play with him then, especially if like they keep making the playoffs, even if they get bounced first round every time. But it's still he's secured himself with the money as it is right now since it's all guaranteed, and so just going to grab it and then. If somebody brings in, then cool. But if not, then he'll be getting out of it like in his early 30s, and he doesn't opt out. I think
he'll still be in his prime.
2025, he has an opt out. So, I mean, if he wants to jump ship, then
wait, how old is he right now? Like 22, 23?
Like, no, he's older than that. I want to say he's like 24, 25 right now. Let me see.
So if he has an opt out in 2025, that would be the end of his contract, right? Because 5 years.
I think because it's an extension.
Or is it 5 years after this year?
It's already like it's already like this upcoming year he was already under contract, and so it's like a 6. Okay. It's basically he's there for 6 more years.
Okay, so he would be able to opt out right before the end of his contract, right? But last year before the end of his contract, correct?
Yeah, basically.
2 years.
Oh, it says he's 26.
Something like that.
He's 26.
Okay, so he would begin. He could opt out at 31, let's say, 31, 32. Mm-hmm. His contract would be over around 32, 33. So he would be like Bron going, okay, how old's Bron? I know him.
He's 35.
He's 34.
35.
34.
35.
35. 35. So he would be like Bron's age when he went to LA. Roughly. About 1 year younger.
Unless he loses some of the athleticism, he's not going to lose the height. So he's still going to have a little bit of game left to him.
I mean,
unless something bad happens to him. So and plus I did say he's going to run the league and like it would be his league. That was I actually honestly wasn't thinking because Anthony Davis would be right up there competing with him for it, and they're both the same age. Anthony Davis is 27, so I mean it'll be AD and Giannis, but. Then, like, still, guys will be picking who they want to play for or with.
Yeah.
And AD will be in LA and Giannis will be in Milwaukee.
But you're 7'1", 7'2".
That had him listed 6'11", by the way. I just looked at it.
That's maybe 6'11" his rookie year. He's like 7'1", 7'2" now.
Yeah.
That's you're saying Jason
Tatum. I'm not saying that he is 6'11". I'm not saying he is 6'11".
No,
but...
that's what I'm saying. They're saying that Jason Tatum is 1 inch shorter than that man. Like no way. But yeah, I mean, he'll definitely still be dominant. He'll have a different role, like. Obviously, like LeBron does now when he's 30.
At that point, you think he would learn how to shoot a little bit, because if he's still living in the paint, but like better. If he's still living in the paint and like relying on athleticism at that time, it's like it's gonna be a little tough.
No,
it's gonna take a toll on him.
Because you saw a complete LeBron shift when he went to LA.
In
his
Miami,
3-point shot got way better.
He became a lot better shooter in Miami. His last year in Miami is when he kind of really took off, and then went to Cleveland. He could hit it, and now he's like it's because he adapted. He knows that if he has the ability to go in and do whatever he wants to somebody inside, but it's going to take a toll. I mean, because that's why I've always given Steph crap. Everybody has, but like it's the reason why he's going to carry out for a little bit longer than he probably should have, because he's not taking a toll. He's just firing the ball up from 40 feet away.
Oh yeah, Steph will be in the league for he's been in the league for like 10 years almost. He'll be in for another 10. I could see Steph in the league till about 2030 maybe, just because he's a pure shooter.
Let me see about his
Like
age.
he's gonna be
he's
like Ray
32.
Allen.
So if he's a 40. I mean, shooters do age pretty decently. Like JJ Redick's like in his 40s. Ray Allen was.
JJ Redick, Ray Allen. Like you see these shooters, they don't have to do anything. They come off the bench and they shoot. Yeah, they go in the paint sometimes.
Oh, Steph's 29. I thought he was 32.
Really...
Oh no, man, that was 2017. So yeah, he's like 30 something. 32. Yeah, I was right. Steph's 32.
All right. So yeah, he okay. So say 10 years, he'd be 42. That's when Vince Carter, like basically retired, was 42, and he was a very athletic man still. So I don't know. It will be the NBA over the next 5 years. It's going to be interesting how things shape out because you're going to have a lot of these superstars phase out of their superstar stage, and you're going to have to see how they adjust to that. And I feel like some guys won't be able to adjust to it.
It's kind of like what Anthony Davis is doing too, like how he's saying he doesn't want to play center because like he knows it's going to take a toll. He wants to keep going longer too. And so
I think some of these stars like Westbrook, Harden, some of these guys with Paul George, some of these guys with big heads can kind of look to and be like, okay, if he did it, we can do it.
But they won't.
Carmelo Anthony. I know, but I'm saying if they can look at how big Carmelo Anthony's head was, like he was going to a team where he knew he wasn't good enough to be a starter, but he said, I'm not playing there unless I'm starting. And then finally, like a couple years down the road, he was like, okay, I still have the ability to play. I still have the juice in me. I still want to play. And then he was like, I just got to take a role. He was like,
I think I think the thing that happened with Carmelo though was that he was out of the league for a year, and so like he kind of had to be forced into like, yo, I just got to take what they give me at this point. Like I'm not getting any younger. So with these guys, I mean, so they came in after him. They're getting more money than Carmelo. They're kind of. I mean, Carmelo was labeled and like he was like one of the top stars in the league at his time, but like these guys just kind of is a little different because they get more publicity and stuff now, and so they're not going to change.
It would definitely be interesting to see how some of those guys change over the next couple of years because they're going to be hitting that age where like they're going to have to start adjusting their careers a little bit and maybe developing a shot so they can stay in the league.
I mean, Westbrook's in his 30s, his early 30s. He hasn't changed, so I don't know about all that.
Yeah, but it's definitely going to be interesting, especially with all these newcomers in the league, all the rookies. It's going to be interesting how the NBA shapes out. So, yeah, I think that's all we got for this time. So, I got anything else to say more?
No, all I have to say is I just found out that Russell Westbrook and Steph Curry were the same age. So there's that.
Okay.
And I almost promised you, so you froze, but I almost promised you that Westbrook's going to be playing longer.
And
I don't know what's happening.
You think?
What'd you say?
You think?
I think what?
You think Westbrook will be playing longer?
No, I said I think Steph will.
Oh, Steph will. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought you said you think Westbrook was going to be playing longer.
No.
I don't know. I'm having some connection issues here.
Yeah, so it just happened to me too. So.
All right. So yeah, we'll see you guys next time.